everyone, welcome back to another episode of Teach, Sleep, Repeat. My name is Dylan.
And my name's Hayden.
And this week we're taking a look at what it means to be a teacher and a parent, how to balance those things, how it might affect you as a person, and all that good deep stuff.
And reflecting on our own personal experiences of being a new parent and a teacher at the same time. Let's go.
So for context, you and I, we became parents in 2023.
We did.
We didn't plan this. we didn't get together and say, should we get going at the same time?
You keep telling them that, mate. You keep telling them. We did. We
so
did.
My son, Rory, was born in October 2023. Your daughter, River, was born in...
November 2023.
Very easy for me to remember.
6 weeks later.
Yeah. Well, because it's like with the months, obviously Rory's is the 5th. And I know Rivers is the 19th because it's 2 weeks.
Yes.
Plus the month, obviously. So not exactly 6 weeks, Hayden. If we're going to be very specific with the math here.
Okay.
Okay, 6 weeks and a bit.
Mr. Maths League.
Because there are how many days in October?
31.
Right, sorry, I've got to
Is it 31?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Right, Hayden. How old are you, Hayden?
33. don't know any numbers.
Hayden's 33.
Yeah.
And about 6 months ago, we were talking about national holidays and stuff. The only national holiday Hayden knows is Christmas,
yeah.
December 25th. So I said, surely not. I get why you might not know Easter because it changes every year.
Yeah.
I understand that. It's frustrating. I get it because I don't always know when Easter is going to be. But then I said to you, when's Halloween? And you had no idea.
Yeah, still don't.
Do you actually? You do?
I am like 40% sure.
What?
Because I just don't care. I don't care.
It's not about caring.
Look, I've carved the pumpkin this week, so it's coming up soon.
There's nothing about it that is to do with caring. It's just knowing and existing in a world where it happens
It's
every
the end of
single year.
October, right? 31st of October.
Well done.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. But I genuinely, I'm not even, I know it sounds stupid,
Yeah.
but I don't really know that. And next year, I will not. If you ask me in February when Halloween is, there will be 1% chance I'll know when it is.
Right. Anyone in the WhatsApp community, you can join down below. Make sure in February time, one of the Q&A questions is simply, when is Halloween? And I'm gonna
I
catch
just
you
don't
off
remember these
guard.
things. I don't remember them.
Anyway, so our children, my son's just turned 2. Your little girl's about to turn 2.
Cheers.
So we were teaching as well at the time, obviously. So I thought it'd be really interesting to do an episode about teaching and parenting.
Yep.
And how maybe becoming a parent changes things or our perspectives or just, managing the job. And I guess I wanted to start off with, how did you change in terms of your empathy, in terms of your understanding? Because I know it's cliche, but before and after you have a child, you can't really, like, you're two different people, aren't you?
Yeah.
You can't talk to yourself and you can't predict what you'll be like after your child comes. And absolutely, I find it really hard to put myself in my shoes of pre-child me and just how I lived my life and stuff like that. So what's been the biggest changes, do you think, from your point of view after you had your...
In terms of empathy for like the parents, do you think? So understanding like what position they're in to have a child.
Yeah, I mean, like, just in general. So obviously we're talking about the context of teaching here. There's loads of people who listen to us who are teachers and parents or work in a school and are parents, etc.
Yeah.
Just in any way, like fundamentally how you are as a person, like, did you find yourself becoming more soft? I know, millennial dads obviously way more involved than like maybe previous generations and things like that. How did you find yourself changing fundamentally in any way, or like really jumped out and you think, oh, I am different?
I think it was more of like an understanding that I didn't really have before, maybe, but that intense love, I guess, that you have for your child and like the want to protect them and do everything that you possibly could, like, right for them. Like, it's so intense, isn't it? And I couldn't comprehend that before, genuinely. I know it sounds really cliche. You just don't know until it's there, but it's true. Like, yeah, really intense. And understanding now that the parents, and carers in the class have that for their children as well, and I've got 32 of them in there, just makes me a bit more understanding of how a parent even just manages the life of their child. But it's so easy as a teacher to be like, oh, as if they've not got their reading record signed 3 times this week. They've done it twice. Honestly, what's going on? It's so easy to like really quickly just be like, oh, why isn't everyone just doing the right thing all the time? That's perfect for my class environment. And then you start to go, oh, it is quite stressful though, being at home with a child. Like my life has changed a lot. Like, I spend a lot more time now being just a bit stressed, I guess, because there's more to do in the house. You're running around cleaning up things. There's more to cook. There's more to do. You've got nap time to sort out. Then you've got to wash up all this stuff. And like, life is a bit more hectic. And that's with a small baby.
Yeah.
Like one small baby. And then I go back to class and be like, oh, you're the 4th sibling that I've taught. Like, respect to your parents. And you know what? You've read twice this week. That's a really good, and got it signed. That's a great achievement.
It's really interesting because you've covered 2 bases there. It's really struck me as, I think you're right on both counts, which is like the intense love and desire and want and like advocation kind of thing of where a parent might constantly go on about something and be like, what have you got this for my child? And then it's like, no, of course not. I've done this for 32 other children. Just give me a minute. I've not thought about that yet.
Yeah.
And that empathy, I definitely, after having a child, thought to myself a bit more, oh, I get why now maybe you're a bit pushy and you're a bit like, you want the best for your child all the time. Of course you do. God, I get it now. And I understand that even though I've got 32 children to look after, for you, that's your world.
Yeah.
But then you also flipped it over, really interestingly, at that point of just like, I think understanding of home life. So do you find, did that change your practice at all? Like, I know obviously you had River in 2023. So in terms of our journey in the classroom, we had very, very young children. Did you find that you were changing how you were to parents and people in school and maybe other teachers who were parents more kind of, did that change or did it take a while for it to kick in?
I don't know if it took a while, but I definitely developed a wider perspective. I think that's probably it, really. I don't even know if it changed that much, really. I think I was already quite understanding. Like, I always try to really understand people anyway.
Yeah.
And I always give people the benefit of the doubt and things. But
because I don't think you're being harsh to parents who weren't doing stuff. I think as teachers, this is the thing I kind of struggle with, because I think I've always understood that. Just because I didn't live it and I didn't understand that really strong love and that connection you have. I could kind of understand, though, that you've got a busy life and you might not have got your homework done. And I wasn't being arsy with parents at all beforehand. So I'm just interested to know, like, did it physically change, like, how you were as a teacher, or did you just basically in the back of your mind go, it makes even more sense?
I don't think it made the biggest change, in all honesty. Yeah, I think exactly, you pretty much summarized it. It just made more sense, and I just opened my eyes a little bit more, and it almost like down to appreciation sometimes as well. I think I was looking for things that I didn't look for before in like the parent-child relationship, because I could now like picture myself with River and her growing up, and I'd start imagining, what's it going to be like when she's at school? What's it going to be like when she's coming home from a year 6 teacher and I'm picking her up? And I'd start noticing these little things and almost just appreciating things that parents do, and it was almost like I'm taking notes. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I'm like, well, that kid, they really have a lovely relationship with their parent, and that parent's even in, like, she was beaming away and Dad was saying really nice things and Mum was saying really nice things. I think I want to be like that. I'm taking, I started like trying to clock onto the things that parents do in the same way that as a teacher, I'm always thinking about my best practice and what's the best pedagogy here for the children, what's the best way to improve their happiness, and all this child psychology comes in, and it's like, yeah, parents are doing that as well. I don't really consider that before. Parents aren't just like home vessels where it's like they just have to like feed them and put them to bed and look after them. It's like, no, they're doing this work as well. Like, they're constantly thinking about what's best for their child, and it just opened my eyes a bit, I guess, to appreciating that and understanding what they're doing with their children. It's
such a good point. Before I had Rory, I'd see relationships maybe between children and parents and think, that's lovely. Isn't that nice? That's the kind of thing it's just so nice to see. And if you think about my career, like, I've dealt with hundreds and hundreds of parents, and there's definitely stuff that I've magpied. And then when Rory came along, it kind of highlighted the past more to me. And then when I was like doing my day-to-day job as a teacher, there's stuff I'd be thinking, I want that for my son. And in small things for me, like, I became much more hyper aware of how many parents at the end of the school day pick up their children and are glued to their phone.
Yeah,
and they're looking at their files, scrolling through. The child runs out. The child's excited to see them, and the parents like, "Oh, you're right. Yeah, carry on scrolling," not really paying any attention to their child. And then I'll see other parents who, like, are there on the edge of their seat, almost waiting for their child to come out. Yeah, like, they spot them. It's like, yeah, my dad's over there, and they run up to the dad and give him a huge hug, and like, just getting all the attention in the world and like talking about their day and things like that. And I definitely look at that and think, I want to magpie stuff. So yeah, I do think that becoming a parent changed me a little bit in terms of my empathy and my understanding. But I also think that it allowed me to pick bits and bobs that I saw from parents that I really liked and be able to magpie it. So like, it almost, that changed me more than having my boy. It was more like, okay, because my outlook's different now and I do have more empathy and I do kind of know what I would like to have with my son as he grows up. It opened my eyes more to, like, I want to say good practice. It sounds ridiculous, but good parenting.
Yeah, it's funny how like we've immediately switched it, isn't it? Because we're obviously thinking about, how has it changed us as teachers? But actually, like, it's the other way around, isn't it?
Yeah,
as
I
well.
think so.
It's like, how has it changed us as the potential parents we want to be?
Yeah.
Funny enough, you said about the phone example. I was in the park yesterday and I went out so Lauren was out yesterday, or was it the day before? I can't remember. But we went to the park, me and Riv, and it was really nice, like a daddy-daughter day, and we took the pram and then she jumped out of the pram when we got to the park and we were just walking along holding hands. And I was like, this is such a nice moment. And then another small family like were approaching us just from like a different angle, and I sort of stopped to let them pass because I know we're really slow. And there was a little boy, at the back, and he had his two parents in front of him. And he had this like massive stick. He wasn't just like, just as a kid, you find things. He was just waving around this massive stick. He was just enjoying himself. He's probably like 6 years old, you know, quite young. And both parents were in front of him. And I don't inherently have a problem with this because it sounds really snobby, but they were both on their phones.
Yeah.
And they were walking through the woods. Like we were in the woods basically at this point. And they both went past me. And as the kid went past, I think the dad sort of became quickly remembered that he's got a massive stick and he's waving it around, and I've got a tiny child next to me. And it wasn't a problem. Like, we just moved out of the way. And he turned around and just went, "Oh, watch where you're going." And then went back to his phone.
Watch where you're going, mate.
And it was really funny, because the only two people out of these three people that were not remotely watching or being observant in any way where they were going were the two parents that were on their phones. Yeah. And the child who was waving a stick around could not have been more observant. He was literally staring at exactly where he was walking and waving the stick and didn't hit us.
Yeah.
And you just saying that just really reminded me of that. And I was like, and it was another example where I know it's horrible because everything sounds so judgy as parents. And when you remotely compare to anything ever, it's like, being judgy.
You don't know. They could have been on their phone checking out the hospital appointment for their little boy.
It's fine. I'm not even judging them. It just made me reflect and think, okay, yeah, like you, there are moments where I will try not to be like, I'm never going to be perfect. I'm far from perfect. I'm obviously going to be sat on my phone at some point where someone else could be like, "Oh, you're not in the moment." Okay, fine, but I am just checking this business thing right now.
Well,
right
now. Sorry. Well, I was just on my phone. I hear what you were saying.
But other times, it's like I will really make the conscious effort not to be, and that was an example. I was like, that was just that wasn't fair on that kid in that moment.
I guess it's like the meta question, then, isn't it? Of what affected you more? Like, did you becoming a parent and a teacher? I don't think, personally, I've talked about this before, I don't think it massively changed me as a teacher, really. I think it just unlocked some kind of understanding and empathy that I kind of felt was always there and guessed was happening. It confirmed it for me. It just made it feel like, oh, this is true. And the bond I have with my son and the love and the attention I want to give him and that relationship is almost separate to my teaching. I don't think I became overnight a more empathetic teacher because I prided myself on trying to understand all my children all the time. I thought that was just a good way to live life. And I try and do that. And it definitely made it easier, I think. So yeah, a new kind of empathy. I'm really interested in thinking about how it affected work-life balance.
Sure.
Because I get this question a lot. Especially after we did the episode, one of our most unhinged episodes, when Rory was just born.
Episode 34.
There you go. I don't think I'd slept for like 3 days, and it was just insane. But I got the question a lot about how did having a child affect how much work you put in as a teacher and your work-life balance? And my answer was always not much, because I felt like I was on that journey already.
Yeah.
And I always say it accelerated it. It made me go more quickly towards refusing stuff that I thought was unreasonable. It made me move more quickly towards taking control of my time, because no longer now was it just for me. You could have argued beforehand, maybe it was selfish of me. How could you do that to the children? You should be putting your life into it. I've got a million reasons why I think that's nonsense. But someone might say that. As soon as Rory came, it was like, cool, there's not even an ounce of me right now that regrets this, because the number one thing, and what will always be the number one thing for me, is him. So if there was a choice between replanning something at the weekend or just using planning from last year and adapting on the spot, I would have adapted on the spot anyway, because I think that's why I'm a good teacher. But guess what? I'm definitely not doing it now. How when Riv came along, and that initial burst of, you get a bit of parental leave, you're off school, obviously. How did you find when you went back it was for your work-life balance? Did it change at all?
I think it changed probably for me more than you.
Yeah.
I think you were already more on that journey. I think I was definitely on that journey in terms of like...
It's harder for you because you're in year 6 as well. Like, there is a point where, it just is true that I found it easier to say no earlier. Whereas I think there were certain things that you definitely, as a year 6 teacher, and maybe even just how you are as a person, you were more likely to go away and do stuff.
Yeah, definitely. There was still the odd thing, but I think it did reduce. It was so much easier to justify in your head when you can say... I can do this thing for school, or I can spend a bit more time with my child. When that's like, when you're able to do that like option in your head, it's really like, of course I'm going to pick the one where I can spend more time with my child, who is only a newborn for an unbelievably short amount of time. And I've only had an unbelievably short amount of time off of work, and if I just happened to be working in a different country or even in a different job, I would just have got way more time. I'm not going to feel bad about it. Like, okay, I'll quit then and go and work as whatever other job gives me 12 weeks paternity leave rather than 2. Like, I never felt bad about it, but it did make it way easier to be like, to come to the conclusion of, of course I'm not going to do that. Whereas before I was a bit more like, well, I don't have to do this. Well, I suppose I don't have to. I was only going to sit around tonight and play a game, or like, oh, okay, I won't play the game. I'll just do the work. It was way harder to like say no. Whereas now it was like, well, of course I'm going to say no.
Yeah.
I can see my child before they go to sleep, or not. Don't be stupid.
Did you feel any guilt for like reducing how much work you did in your job? I know it's easier to do, right? But I do think that something can be an easy choice and you still feel a bit like, oh, I'm sorry. Did you feel guilt towards your co-workers, etc., like people who maybe were doing more and maybe didn't have children yet and therefore were still like plowing way more time into it? Did you feel guilt at any point, like even for the kids, your co-workers, your boss, you know, even your daughter to an extent? Like,
yeah,
I found myself feeling more guilty after, like,
to who?
To everyone in general, just honestly to everyone in general, in terms of I felt like I couldn't win. In terms of, yeah, okay, I reduced my workload after Rory came, had 2 weeks off, went back to work.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's crap. Like, you know, is there a way where, is there a life I could have had or a path I could have gone down earlier where I got more time with him when he was tiny? I think about that and I'm just like, yeah, there probably was actually. I feel guilty about that, but I've got to go to my job and earn money.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, cool. And he's off with mum, bro. Also, I felt guilt towards, you know, I know I give off this bravado and stuff on this podcast, don't we, all the time. I do, like, I want what's best for the kids all the time. And me saying no to certain stuff may have gone from, you know, a 2% dip maybe. Yeah. Maybe if I'd gone and done something for 4 hours and sacrificed my evening with my son, maybe my class would have got a little bit more of a boost in something in terms of their attainment, okay? I still came to the decision where I was like, this is not worth it. These kids are going to do well either way. It's not worth my time to do that. It didn't mean I didn't feel a bit of guilt. And the more you say no, the more guilt I feel. My colleagues who would go above and beyond, I'd end up having to say to them, well, I'm not doing that. You don't have to as well. And they were like, well, I'm going to though, aren't I?
Yeah, that's the guilt, isn't it?
And it's like,
that's the example I was going to give is like, we both give it the big talk because we're sat here on a podcast, but about, you know, saying to your colleagues, well, you don't have to do it either, don't do it. Like, I'm not going to waste my time just because you feel like you should waste your time. Like, that's not how it works. And I'm saying I'm not going to do it. You should also be saying you're not going to do it, and you've chosen to do it for some reason.
Yeah.
You shouldn't feel bad about that, but I do though. Exactly. I did actually feel guilty when I'd be like, no, I'm not doing that. It's ridiculous. And then someone else would just do it instead. And I'm like, the best outcome here is we both agreed that this was silly and we shouldn't have done it. But what actually happened is you've now done even more than me, which makes me look bad by comparison and makes me feel guilty.
Yeah. I don't mind looking bad. I really don't mind. Like, I'll look bad. I don't care. I went home and put my son to bed. You can't put a price on that. No. So I'll just do it once. No, I'm not going to do that. Yeah. But yeah, the guilt is real. It's like, you can't control what other people are doing either. And I kind of struggle with that. Again, I had to be like, you have to choose your pros and cons. It's like, I'd rather feel bad and look like a bad person to these people because it means I get more time with my son. I'm sorry. Like, the other option is I pander to you. And I've had so many messages from people before who say, I wish I didn't do it. I wish I didn't keep going above and beyond so much in my job that I missed my children growing up.
Yeah.
And like that sits in my head rent free.
Yeah, same.
Every time it comes down to any decision like this, you know, even now we've left teaching. It's not all roses and fields. We're still working all the time.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that I get to spend every single waking minute with my son that I want to. There are times where I go and have meetings. There are times where I need to sit and do work. There are evenings where I'm like, I need this deadline. I need to get this done. Yeah. Those things still exist in every job. But I tell you what, it exists less. It exists much less now. But yeah, that's my overall point. I don't think it has to be guilt-free to be the right thing to do.
Yeah,
and people will feel guilt and be like, oh, I shouldn't be doing it. So you'll feel guilt either way. You've got these things to balance here.
Yeah.
And feeling guilt doesn't mean it's wrong.
The biggest thing that helped me is very similar to what you said lives rent-free in your head, was someone a lot older than me, around the time of having River, said the classic thing of like, oh, you know, enjoy it, it's quick, but also said, I worked really, really, really hard when my kids were born, and I massively regret not being able to go back and spend that time again with them. And that really stuck with me because it was someone personal to me and someone who meant it. Do you know what I mean? They were really genuinely like pouring out their heart of like what they actually regret in life, and that was the biggest thing. And that is just stuck in my head. And that is how. So if you're thinking, I want to make these decisions, but like, how do I do it? You almost need like that catalyst in your mind of remembering every time you make that decision. You're only going to get that. You will literally only get that time once. And again, it's cliche, but you will. And you don't want to get to an older age like this person I was speaking to and then be like, I do regret not working so much and not spending any time with my children.
The big one for me is the preschool 8 years. Those, because when they go to school, they spend so much of their time in school, they start making their own friends as they get older, etc. The thing that has stuck with me is exactly that, and it's specifically the preschool years. So Rory will start school in September 2028.
Yeah.
So I still got about 3 years, or just under 3 years. And he's just turned 2. So because he's in October, he's going to be one of the oldest children in his year group. And I look at that and I think, I'm close to halfway. It's close to half of that time where you have the most incredible bond with your child. Right, I'm getting emotional. So if you've noticed the cut there, it's because we just cut it out and I couldn't talk. But it's sad because you think I'm halfway. I already think I'm making the most out of it right now.
Yeah.
And I want to make the most out of every minute before then, because then they go to school and before you know it, they're off. So yeah, I don't know.
That's the hardest reality. And I understand why you're getting emotional, because it's tough. Like I'm constantly, I feel like this is a normal thing, but I'm constantly doubting whether I'm doing it right. Do you know what I mean? And the time goes no matter what. Like the time will pass whether you like to think it or not. It's like, so I'm constantly evaluating her. She's nearly 2. Rory is 2. Have we spent enough time with them?
Yeah.
Have we done the right thing? We
I've been that person on my phone. I know I have. When I posted probably you might have come from this podcast from a meme online. Yeah, I sat and made that. Rory could have been playing at the time.
Yeah.
It's work. Like, it is work in terms of we're trying to build this podcast up. We're building our other businesses and things. It is work. But, like, did I need to do all of that?
Yeah.
Did I really? I don't know.
Yeah. Could there have been one less that you did and spent a bit more time with Rory?
And 2 less, and 3 less, and 4 less. This is where I struggle to draw the line. It's like, you know what? And again, this is where you're working really hard. You're trying to provide for your kids. It's such, I find it such a really hard line to kind of, to battle against. And yeah, I don't know. I struggle with it, and I just want to do what's best for him. That's the bottom line. And I think as long as you're coming from that point of view, then, you know, at least you can say at the end, well, I did try and do what was best for you. If I spent a bit less time, I was trying to do it because I was trying to give you this.
Yeah.
Or if I chose to spend more time with you, cool. And my gut instinct right now, whilst they're so young, is just as much time as you possibly can, do it. And that's why I'll never regret quitting teaching. Yeah. I'll never regret it, because at the end of the day, it's allowed me to spend more time with Rory than I ever would have.
Well, this is kind of leading to my next thought here, which is, how much do you think? Because I feel like we were already on the pathway of thinking about leaving teaching for years, in all honesty. Like, it was always in the back of my mind. How much did having Rory amplify the speed of that journey to quitting? Can you categorically say, if I hadn't had Rory, I might have done an extra couple of years? Or do you think it was nailed on? Like, how much did it have an impact actually having a child?
I really struggle with both parts of this, because I really think having a child can make you go both ways. So as soon as I knew we were pregnant with Rory, I thought to myself, oh crap, I can't quit. That's what I thought. I can't quit. I need this guaranteed income.
Right, sure.
Like, we've got a mortgage to pay. Rory needs this really stable household right now. I need to not take any risk. I need to not be at 90%, even whenever I need to be at 100%. We can keep the tutoring business going. We can keep the podcast going. We can keep the YouTube going. We can keep the real job going. We can just do it. I'll juggle it all. And I can see why people go down that route.
Yeah.
Because I was nearly going down that route. Yeah, I was nearly going down that path. And then I just had to check myself. And I thought, if I do that, I will not have any time. I cannot do everything. Something will have to give. And I realized something will have to give. So something had to give in terms of the teaching job, the tutoring company, the social media stuff that we're trying to grow, and the other businesses that we're growing right now. And I thought to myself, do you know what? I need to take a break from teaching. I've done it for 10 years. It's the thing I've done the most. It's the thing I've done the most of. It's the thing that takes up most of my time. And this is what the main thing was. It takes up most of my time. We were in a very lucky position where, although it wasn't 100% and I was choosing not to go down that 100% safety route, it was quite a safe option for us to quit because of the businesses we have, because of the routes we're going down and the money it makes us. I know for a fact, and just being really transparent to everyone now, I know that I have like a 2-year burn rate. If I was to quit teaching and nothing was to grow or change or be any different or go right or boom or anything like that, I know that I can survive and we can have our house for 2 years and I'll look into getting a job again. Yeah. So that's what I was thinking to myself. And I was like, what an unbelievably privileged position to be in, where I can make that choice. Because I know a lot of people listening just simply can't do that. So we'd worked our butts off for however long to try and get the income, because we had that long-term goal. Yeah. And when Rory came, it flipped and I went, I'm quitting. I've got to quit. I've got to do it now because of all the reasons we just said about them being so young. Were you, because I feel like I was the one who wanted to quit for a long time, trying to convince you.
Do you think?
No, but it flipped. That's my point. So I felt like there was a point where I was like, oh, we got to quit.
Yeah.
And then you were like, okay, right, let's quit. Because I'm one who wants to be a millionaire. I
Yeah.
had the money safety net. I was like, let's do it. Let's quit. Let's go part-time. Let's do it. Let's drop our hours and stuff.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you did it, it became more real. And I was like, oh, maybe not. And then we had our children. And then I
Yeah.
think both of us were just like, and we have to get out of here.
Yeah, because I was going to say, it's interesting you said that. I think that is true, but I also think it's true that I quit before you in terms of
That's
like,
what I mean. You went hard.
I committed to it in my head before you.
Yeah.
And then it took you a bit longer to come around. When it became real, like you said,
Yeah, I was like, oh.
you were like, oh, actually, I was just saying it. Yeah, I think I quit like a year before you in my head.
You did.
I remember being like, oh, I'm done now.
Yeah.
I am done. And I longed out another year
Mm.
in hopes that things would go right. And then obviously having River in that short window of time was a bit like, I guess the final nail in the coffin. Because the one thing I will say right now, and I know you got a bit emotional about it, but like the time we have with our kids now is way better.
It's
Despite
10 times
working,
better.
we work so much. We really do. Like people,
Mm.
we joke about it. Like when I talk to anyone I see, and I'm slobbing around because I'm at home in my home gear, and I'll see someone in the middle of the day for whatever reason, and I'll be like, oh yeah, doing nothing, and I'll be like, yep. Yeah, knowing full well that I worked until 10 p.m. the night before, like writing up some parts for our new maths software that we're building, and I'll be working all day, and then I'll be editing it. Like I'm gonna be editing this podcast at the weekend.
You're out to get lunch halfway through as well. Like it's like, yeah, I am working. It's not worth having that conversation, is it?
No, exactly. I like, and it's just good fun. People say it in jest. I say it in jest. I love to tell people I'm retired. It's hilarious. It's hilarious for a 33-year-old man to say, yeah, I'm retired. It's just funny when it's not remotely true, but it's funny. So I'll keep saying it. But I look at my life now, and I do keep myself in check, and I do think we are in a better position. Like ultimately, I look at it. I think I'm still in the education world. I'm still talking about teaching all the time with this. We're still building stuff for schools. I still talk with teachers and we have our tutoring. I still work with kids all the time, but I have way more time with. Is the flexibility? I think.
Yeah,
it's more.
That's it.
I might still on paper work a week of the same amount of hours that I would done in school.
Yeah,
but I got to have lunch with Rivy every day.
Yeah.
Work
when she's asleep.
I could work in the evening, so I can just top load a bunch of those hours into the evening and actually just spend the earlier part of the evening with her. And it's just generally, I'm enjoying it a lot more. Even
100%.
though, but yeah, it's a tricky one. I think teaching and parenting are just really are just not that compatible. I think a lot of people say this online, and I would agree. Is that they're really, really hard things that if you really want to be a super present there parent and like make the most of those early years, and also be the best possible teacher you can be in a primary school or a secondary school, it's very hard to marry those two things together without some sort of like significant loss in either of the two options.
Yeah, completely. And that's what sticks in my head is exactly that. It's people saying that and people regretting. People only regret one way.
Yeah.
People only regret taking time out with their own kid. But never has someone said, oh, I chose to have more time with my child and God, I regret it. I wish I was teaching more. That never happens.
Thinking about that class I had 5 years ago. Like,
it never
so
happens.
Annoyed.
I want to move on slightly to chat with you because I think you're in a very unique position. And I want to think about us looking ahead because obviously our children are young and they're not even in school yet.
Yeah.
And it really got me thinking about how I'm going to act when my child goes to school. But then I thought, wait a minute, Rivy goes to nursery some days. So could you just maybe talk us through that? Like, what was it like? And specifically in the context of you're a teacher and you know that professionals are doing this job, but you were very much in the role of parent when Rivy first went to nursery, dropping her off for the first time, her just being in nursery in general.
Yeah.
Do you find it tricky, like bringing stuff up that you don't agree with, or do you think it's fine, or what do you find yourself contradicting yourself? Yeah, go on, just in general.
I guess the first thing is just harping back to the first question about empathy. Taking River to nursery has really helped me like develop my empathy from a teacher perspective for parents. Yeah, because I realize how actually monumental it is to give up your own child to basically strangers who professionals. You can respect that. And then leave them for the day with them. Like it's actually like it's the turmoil. There's a lot to it, and I never appreciated that before at all. I just be like, of course, drop your kids off to me at school. Stop making a fuss out of it. Like I'm a teacher. I know what I'm doing. Yeah. I never appreciated that. Yeah, it's because they have this unreal bond, and of course they don't want to just be like, bye child for 8 hours. Maybe some do. It's like, yeah, nice break. I'm sure it gets to that point where it's
eventually.
like, hello. Yeah, but like at least at the start, it's like, yeah, of course that parent's a bit upset. I remember used to thinking like, oh, why is that parent crying? Why is the parent crying as well? It's not helping the situation.
Yeah, but that child was 10.
Yeah, and maybe,
Six.
but even still, it's like the start of the year, your kid's upset going into school.
Oh, it's horrible.
And it's like, and I didn't understand it, whereas now I do because I was that crying parent, genuinely. Like, and I'm not a massive crier. Do you know? I don't cry. You know,
Well, take this episode.
clearly polar opposites here, but I don't cry that much when I get emotional. I tend to just sort of smile.
Well, I don't think I do, but clearly,
I don't know. I'd say you're a very emotional person,
maybe.
But when I took Rivi to nursery for the first time, I cried for 10 minutes straight in the car on the way home. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
Because I felt so unbelievably guilty.
Did she not want to go?
Because she didn't want to go. And I didn't expect this because she's really quite outgoing. And we'd done these like settling in days before where she just enjoyed herself. I was like, this is a result.
But did you stay with her for that?
Some of them.
Right. So, yeah.
So she had a bit of experience of like being left alone. And I was like, this is great. She's going to love nursery. It makes me feel better because we need the childcare basically for months. So we do 3 days, only 3 mornings. That's all she does. Doesn't do loads, but we needed the childcare at that time. I was like, great. She enjoys it. It's going to be like a club to her. And then day 1 came and I dropped her off for her real first day. And she clung to me and she screamed and she cried and she was like pining for me, like, Daddy, like, don't, as in looking at me with those eyes of like, do not leave me. Like, the only thing I need right now is you for not to leave me. And in that moment when you have to go, yeah, but I'm going to though. I have to leave you. And you know they don't understand the nuance of this situation. All they're thinking is, my dad's leaving me. I want this thing for my dad and he's not giving it to me. And it's the first time I've ever just like blatantly refused like a need that she has. And I could not have felt more guilty if I tried. It was honestly the worst guilt I've ever felt in my whole life, to the point that I nearly cried in the room and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be that parent. I've become that parent. I can't quite pull yourself together.
Yeah.
And I could feel my lip going. I was quick and I was like, right, this is it. I just need to get out of here. And she needs to, like, I know this is the best practice from being a teacher, from the kids that come into me. I could literally reflect in the moment of children that are upset when they come to school are always fine within like 5 minutes. They're
Cold
fine.
turkey, go.
Just the parents, the best thing for parents to do is just leave them because they will be fine. I know that. And it took every like ounce of my body to walk out of that room and just not pick her up. Like all I was thinking was, I'm just going to take her again. We'll try this another day.
Well, because you spoke to me about this at the time and you were like, I'm considering just not doing this nursery thing because it happened for a few days in a row. And I found it fascinating because not remotely saying you're wrong. And I think the way you feel is very normal. And in fact, if you didn't feel that way, it'd be odd. But as a teacher, as I know you as a teacher, like for most of my life, and you were definitely the type of person who'd be like, right, but you know it's right. We know what would work. Just do this. How do you handle essentially the hypocrisy of knowing the right thing to do, but feeling that guttural bond and because I just imagining like you the nursery worker and you the parent almost like thinking the exact same things but coming to heads and arguing and almost being like, no, I just need to stay with my kid, and then you be like, no, you need to go. How do you deal with that in your head with Rivi? Like do you manage to be, you know, objective, or are you pulled by your heartstrings way more?
I was surprisingly pulled by my heartstrings more.
I didn't think you would be like that.
I didn't think I would be like that because I think I'm really good at being objective. And I think when teaching, like you said, I've spent 10 years in teaching, getting to the point where I'm like, I just know what is the best decision regardless of my emotions or the parents' emotions or the kids' emotion. There is just a best outcome here. Yeah. And I take myself out of it and I'm just going to be the facilitator of that best outcome. That's it. Yeah. And I just assumed I could do that as a parent. I even said before I was a parent and in the lead up to going to nursery, I was like, I'm not going to be that parent that's like this. I'm always going to be really objective and be able to look at the situation and just do the best thing for the sort of long-term outcome. Yeah. Till you put me in that moment with the child, with River, and I'm just like, I nearly pulled her out. So I was this close. I'm like so close, literally a day away to being like, we're not going to do this nursery thing. We'll try in a year. And then she enjoyed a day. And she had her first.
She probably enjoyed a bunch of the days.
I think she enjoyed all of them. Yeah. But the last thing I see is her crying. And then when I pick her up, she was also then could cry with like relief.
Right.
And then she had a day where she didn't cry when I dropped her off. She had a fantastic time there, loads of fun, and was like super happy and bubbly when being picked up. And I was like, cool, right, we're fine. Yeah. We've made it over the hill. But the hypocrisy was really hard to manage.
You nearly didn't let her.
I know, and I actually had to like speak to you because I knew you would be the brain I needed, and you were really black and white and told me exactly what I needed to hear, which is what I think. Which was, and you said to me, I remember this because I was like, "That's what I need to hear." You said to me, if this was someone else, Hayden, here is what you would say to them. And then you said to me what I would say to everyone else, which is exactly what we've just, I won't repeat it, what we just said,
completely.
about the situation. So
I think it's fascinating because I think everything you said will resonate with a lot of people. I just at the meta level very quickly, I also think it's sad that the society we're in leads us to be in this situation. You know, like when headline policy from government is, you can now from 9 months old have free childcare, drop them off at nursery. And it just goes against everything I fundamentally believe. Like, I don't think it's best for kids to have to go to nursery full time every week because their parents have to work because they need to provide because costs have gone up so much. Like they're being free childcare. I'm like, great. Okay, that's obviously good. Like, childcare is so expensive and that is a great thing. But like, again, it feels like a sticking plaster because I'm like, well, look at other countries. And I'm like, oh, children don't start school till 7 because it's so well funded and part of society that parents raise their children from home. And I find it such a shame that, you know, our solution to this is more free childcare vouchers for young kids. Like, I find it sad. I'm not remotely putting any blame onto the parents because parents have to do this and we have to give them free
it's out of our
childcare.
control.
It's out of their control. What I'm saying is sad is the fact that one parent can't not work for like a couple of years. Like, why? We're in a society where that can't happen. Like, you can be with a partner and both of you work full time for like 8 years together, have a child, and one of them has to go back to work within 2 weeks. And then the other one has to go back to work when the kid's 9 months old.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? We can't live in a society where we can't make it so that having children is incentivized in a way where it's like, no, you don't have to work because your work is raising the next society, next generation for us. Your work is putting it into that. And I just find it so sad because I think some nurseries are amazing places and do great stuff for our children, but I just won't be convinced that it's always the best place for a child.
No.
And I just really don't think that. And I think it's such a shame. I think nursery definitely has its place and it's needed and it helps children, but I think that kicks in at a certain age as well. But for example, you and Lauren, you both work. You need nursery. Okay, cool. Thanks, government. Great. Like, can you make teaching a job where the pay is sufficient for me to raise my family? Because then Lauren can stay at home, or I can stay at home and Lauren can go work and work. Whatever way it is, however this works, but it isn't.
Yeah.
And then the option is just like, just get rid of your kid earlier. Oh man, that's sad.
It's quite dystopian, isn't it? In a way,
little bit,
because it always was that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, we shouldn't glorify the past because the past is full of lots of horrible, miserable things, and there's lots of nuances to everything. It's easy to pick out the bits and say, yeah, we used to have one parent that would work, and then someone else could come back with all the counter arguments. But ultimately, it is just a bit rubbish that a lot. My cousin's in the same position. So my cousin had a baby a year after we had Rivy, and had to go nursery day 1, 9 months, because she had to go back to work, and her partner works as well. There just isn't another option.
Yeah,
some people. We're lucky enough, and you're lucky enough that we've got our mums who can help us with that childcare.
Yeah.
But still, at the end of the day, if you actually think about it, that's still not the optimal one, which is you just get to raise your own child.
Yeah,
it's not happening.
I know.
We've quit teaching. We're still not in that position.
No, because it's money. Of course, it's money.
Yeah.
When we quit teaching, we did take a pay cut.
Big one.
We just don't get paid now from our school. It's not like we suddenly replace that with something else. It's just not true.
No.
But we took the point of time, and we get more time than ever. And I think we're very lucky.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're just spoiled brats talking about you wish you had even more time. Of course I do, you idiot. I can already see like the anonymous account online going, oh, lefty, wokey, liberal, just wanting time with your kids.
Not prepared to work.
Do you not? I work 70 hours a week.
Great.
What? Do you think that's glorified to me?
Yeah. Well,
do you think I aspire for that? Do you think I want to do that? I'd go and do it if I wanted to. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Well done for working 70 hours a week. I've got a 2-year-old. There's nothing I want to do more than be with him.
Yeah.
So when I'm doing stuff,
other than this podcast.
sometimes in this podcast, and, every now and then an hour's nice, right? But I don't want to do a 70-hour week where I'm knackered.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to work and do all that work and then get home and I'm so done in that all I want to do is eat my dinner and go to bed and then resent the fact that I've got to spend time with my son. I'm never going to get into that situation, and you're never going to convince me into thinking that I need to become a bootlicker for that reason. I don't want to do it. Stop telling me you work 70 hours a week like it's meant to make me feel jealous.
Yeah, or bad.
I feel bad for you. Yeah. I feel bad for you that you think that's a badge of honor.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like, and it's sad. Like, and those people who do work 70 hours because they need to provide for their children and they wish they couldn't, I feel for you. You're not going online saying, well, you should. You're a hard worker.
And even in teaching, like, that's why I feel bad, because sometimes you have those teachers that they're not even doing it on purpose. They just want to do the best all the time. And when you see them getting taken advantage of, they're a parent. I'm thinking of parent teachers, by the way, right now. And that teacher's got a 2-year-old at home.
Yeah.
But they're extremely lovely and they're just getting hounded with work and they don't want to say no. And it's impacting like that. I want to fight for those people. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel bad for them.
Yeah.
They don't want to put their head above the parapet and be like, no, like me and you can be quite brazen sometimes and be like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going home to my child. A lot of people aren't. Most people probably aren't like that.
But still
think it, but they'll be losing that time with their child and because teaching is broken. It's madness. Like we need to, that's what we do in this podcast. We talk about it all the time. We try and fight for that, for the rights of people.
So like thinking into the future then, I guess something I think about a lot is how the fact I'm a teacher will affect how I am with my child as they're going through school. Like, even now, like, I've got Rory counting to 12. He's saying, I know River's doing
counting to 13. Yeah, to 13. Yeah.
Wait, did I say 13? I meant 14. What's River counting to?
Yeah, 15.
Rory's doing one more than that. It's mental. It's mad. How many letters does she know? Oh, Rory's
27.
But the point is, like, I remember when I was in university, I've talked about Gina Donaldson before, my tutor.
Yep.
And she talked about this. She had a young child at the time. And she was like, I really try to not be teacher at home. I'm mum at home.
Yeah.
And I try not to be teacher at home. And that stuck in my head. I don't want Rory to become thinking that I'm his teacher at home. I'm not. But I also want to enrich him as much as possible. I want to expose him to stuff. I love that he sits there and counts. He wakes up in the morning on the monitor. I can hear him going, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, elf. Like, he's just like nonsense. But it's so cute. And he sings his nursery rhymes and we read to him so much. Like if you look at our downstairs, there must be like 200 books, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just surrounded by stuff. Trying to enrich him. But I worry, am I going too far? Like, do you ever worry about it? Like, is there such thing as too far, or is just get over it? You give your kid every chance you can.
I think I don't know if it's too, but it probably is a too far. I don't think what you're doing is going too far.
No,
I think we know as teachers, and we are in a privileged position to know this, but we know as teachers that children with a positive start in education, like they're more likely to kind of hold that positivity. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you don't see this. It's not just completely random. Like you look at the progress charts of children, it's not just like spaghetti, and it's just like, it's completely pot luck. Like who's doing well by the end of year 6? It's like, well, no, it's quite often the kids that were doing well in year 1.
Yeah.
In all honesty.
Yeah.
And the kids that were really behind in year 1 are quite often the kids that are really behind in year 6.
Yeah.
There is obviously some movement, but we know there is some correlation between kids having a positive start.
It's about best chances.
So I don't think what we're doing is too far by the.
But is there a thing that's too far? Like Gina was talking about it. She was like, I know he can't do this maths thing.
Yeah.
He's in year 2 and he just doesn't quite get this thing yet. But I'm going to leave his teacher to crack on with that. Or, I definitely don't think it's too far to be like, I'm going to help you with that.
No.
Like, so I just don't know.
Okay. The too far thing, I think, is a personal line for everyone. And I think the too far would be when your kid literally is screaming they don't want to do it and it's not remotely enjoyable. And now you're starting to attribute learning with something that's horribly unenjoyable and a chore and that makes them upset. The line is probably somewhere where it's like where it becomes that for your child. Do you know what I mean? And it's a horrible chore and you're now doing a disservice to your child because they're actually making them hate education.
And not the other things. Like the thing I'm so passionate about as Rory grows up is providing those things that school doesn't. So although we can sit there and think, well, he doesn't quite get this maths thing, there'll be a point where I'm like, okay, well, I know he'll do that 6 more times in his school. And it's kind of okay at this point. He doesn't quite get it. But do you know what he won't get at school? A 3-hour walk through the forest at the weekend.
Yeah.
Do you know what he won't get at school? Going to the beach with his cousins and building a sandcastle and having fun with his family and stuff like that. So that's where I think I look at it and I go, I get, maybe there's no such thing as too far, but there is maybe such thing as I just need to definitely make sure I'm remembering my place, though. As parent,
yeah, sure,
it is everything. And I would hate to get to the point where enrichment isn't my number one thing for him. Like, we'll go to, if he wants to go to the Natural History Museum, we'll go up for the weekend. If he wants to read this book, we'll read this book together. And maybe reading something I will push and be like, we've got to do it, though, even when you don't want to.
Yeah.
But there'll be other things where I'm like, okay, as a teacher, I know it's better that if you can form your Fs properly right now. But but you know what we're not going to do for 2 hours on a Sunday morning? Sit and do your Fs properly. We're going to go and watch some non-league football. We're going to go to a football tournament.
And I'll write a note in your reading record to the teacher if I really need to converse with them about something.
Right.
He keeps messing up his Fs, just let you know.
But again, like even that, maybe we could go on to that. Because we talked about like too much outside of school. How are you going to find it interacting. I think you're going to really struggle.
I think I'm going to be the annoying parent.
Because I think you're really annoying.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be really honest.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to try so hard
Yeah.
not to be the teacher parent. We all know the teacher parent. I don't have to explain it.
But but very quickly, 99% of parents I know who are teachers are amazing and like godsend, and it's like, you understand and leave you alone and crack on and stuff.
Yeah.
But I know you're.
But we know the cliche teacher parent thing that I'm getting on here, which is basically the teacher who then just is a nuisance. The parent who is a teacher or was a teacher who is then a nuisance to their child's class teacher because they're just like getting so involved and grilling them over certain things, rather than a parent that wouldn't have known any of these things who would have just been like, cool, crack on with your job.
So like controversial thing here, I suppose, but like obviously we all know that if you're in a multi-form entry school, right, as a parent, you might think, I kind of hope my child gets this teacher for whatever reason. Especially if you're a teacher, you might know certain stuff. But like, I know for a fact this teacher's really good with like handwriting, and my goodness me, if he can just nail that this year, I'll be really happy. So I have a preference. How are you going to act if you don't like your child's teacher? Like, are you going to, because we know how much of an impact it can have on a child negatively when they're not getting on at school, they don't enjoy themselves. Are you going to be the person to be like, well, I know that's true, but I'm just going to stay out of it? Or are you going to be annoying? Are you going to be like, no, this needs to change?
I don't know. It really depends on the situation. I think I will do everything I possibly can within my brain to separate parent and teacher. I really will try that as much as possible. But I can't ignore the fact that I will just know stuff intrinsically. Even when I'm separating the teacher part out of me and I'm just being parent, as a parent, because I was a teacher, I will still just know how things work in schools.
Like if they're not tracking reading whatsoever, you might be like, something? Like,
right? So as a parent, if I feel like something is genuinely like really poor or bad practice and it's actually affecting my child, and if that just happens to be, I know that in such detail because I was in the teaching world before, I think I'd struggle to then be like, well, if I wasn't in teaching, I wouldn't know this. So should I just let it go? I don't think I'll be able to do it because I'll be like, yeah, but I do know it. Yeah, but I do know this thing, and I know this is really negatively impacting my child. I'm not just for the sake of being a bit more polite. I'm not just going to not mention it. Yeah. What I would do is, if I mentioned anything, if I had anything constructive or any critique or whatever, I would never be that rude parent that we can all imagine, that we know that comes in like super entitled, Mr. Know-it-all. I might be a bit of a know-it-all, but I'll do it in...
Clip that. I'm clipping that. It's going to be my ringtone for you. Mr. Know-it-all.
Mr. Know-it-all.
Mr. Know-it-all.
I might, in certain situations, but I would absolutely be extremely polite and I'd go down the proper channels because I would respect that, because I know that as a teacher myself, I would want people to at least respect the channels. I don't think I'm right. Here's the thing. Here's where I don't think I'm being that hypocritical, is that as a teacher, I don't think I'm always right. And I think there have been situations where the parent absolutely has trumped me on something and I just hadn't thought about it before.
But the way
I'm glad they did it.
Yeah.
They
did it nicely.
They did it nicely.
They should have done it. And I think I agree with you completely. As long as your first iteration isn't blame teacher, what are you doing, you idiot? Yeah. But it's rather, I noticed this. Is it because of that? And leading it.
A teamwork. It's a team. Like we're both massive parts of my child's education, and life. Life. Yeah, literally. Like me as the parent and you as a teacher, we need to come at this together. I don't think it's fair to say I should be completely hands off and let the teacher have complete autonomy over it. Because if there's something wrong, then I think I should be able to be part of that and address it with the teacher. Say, I've noticed this. I don't know if you've noticed this as well. What do you reckon we can do about it?
Not necessarily also in front of the child. Yeah, I'm really hot on this, and I think like even if I think my son maybe is being mistreated or told off for reasons that aren't against his will, whatever. Firstly, I don't know. I'd be going off my son's word. And I'm not going to pretend that my son's the only child who wouldn't ever lie. Rory's going to tell me lies when he's older, and he's probably going to have done stuff and say it's not him. I'm not just going to believe him straight away. But even if maybe it is wrong, and it's me, Rory's teacher, and Rory, and the teacher's saying something, I am never, ever, ever in front of that situation going to disagree with the teacher. No, not once. I'll say, Rory, listen. Yeah. We'll go over, talk about it. And if I think, well, actually, that wasn't fair, I'll go and talk to the teacher myself. But like, look, well, I think we need to be on the same page here, but can we just get to the bottom of like...
Why is that, by the way?
What did that happen?
Why would you not
Because I don't want Rory to see me undermining the teacher. Yeah, good. Because I don't want him in any way whatsoever, because I don't want him to then think, oh, I can do that. And I can do whatever I want because I know Dad will believe me when it comes out.
Because we've seen that from the other side. I've seen it.
And even though I know there'll be times where the teacher's wrong. I'm not saying teacher's always right. What I'm saying is, there is always a situation though where you don't want to undermine that relationship.
Yeah.
So even if Rory is starting to undermine that relationship himself, I'm not going to exacerbate that by also being like, yeah, silly teacher, you were wrong. No. Don't do that. Do it separately. And it's for that reason. Like, I just want to make sure that I'm doing everything I can to not make this situation worse, but to actually help it.
Yeah.
And just I explain it to the teacher. I'd be like, look, we need to be on the same page here. But like, I don't really understand why that happened. Can you explain it to me? They can? Cool, we're on the same page still. They can't? Okay, well, can you understand why maybe next time we need to do this instead? Cool, come to a new agreement. Still can't. I'm going to have to talk to the head teacher now. I'm still going to keep it away from Rory as much as I possibly can.
It makes sense. I think I want to dive into your brain a bit more. So I think we've established that I won't be able to bite my tongue. I will just be, I just will be that teacher parent I will say things as I see them, but I will make sure it's in the polite, correct ways. You know what I mean? And I'll try not, I'm not going to be that parent that emails like once every 2 days to an update. Like it's just unnecessary. I know there are certain boundaries. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
But if it's impacting my child, I will obviously say something. Whereas you are horribly awkward and you really don't want to like have conflict, I think sometimes, and maybe and you don't like conflict, that's for sure, and maybe even to the point of like you don't want to seem rude.
Yeah.
How will you deal with this? Because you are very opinionated at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So how are you going to tackle this?
I think I'll have to just be black and white and be like, and if I did find that, I'd just be very much cementing in the first place. This is what I try and do all the time. I try and cement the context to every conversation I have because I want it to be rooted in. We all agree and know why I'm saying this kind of thing now, why we're about to have this conversation. It's not personal. I'm not trying to get at you. I'm trying to understand things and get to the bottom of it. Cool. Cemented that. Right. Why did you call my son an idiot? That. Do you know what I mean? And I think, and that's where I think having my own child will definitely swerve me a bit towards being more acceptable of like, I don't care if it's awkward or not. My child's really upset. I need to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
I'd be able to swerve past that a bit more. Whereas now I'm just like, oh, it's my personal opinion. So I guess we'll just leave it at that. Haha. Isn't that great? And I'll take the awkwardness. But like when it's my son, I definitely think like, cool, I need to have my hat on here because I don't want to undermine this relationship. I want to get to the bottom of it and sort it for him.
Yeah.
So like, I think I just have to be more calculated.
You can take your mind out of it almost because it's for someone else.
I try to. Like that's basically what I try and do. I think there'll be times where I probably lose my patience if it's awful. And I'll probably be that parent who I used to think, calm down. I understand.
Yeah, really. I can't imagine you.
I think sometimes it would have to be serious.
Yeah.
But in general, I think 90% of the time I'd say, get over it, son. Yeah. I'd say to my son, get over it. But it was wrong. I wasn't talking. So
yeah.
If my son wasn't talking and got told off, I'd say to my son, you need to get over that.
Yeah.
You need to understand. You need to get over that because that's going to happen all the time. I'm literally a teacher. I did it all the time, I'm sure. Right? Excuse me. Why are you talking? I wasn't. It was people behind me. Was it? Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
If my son comes home and says, I got told off today, talking and I wasn't, I'd be like, cool.
Okay.
Your life's going to go on though, innit?
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah.
Like I'd honestly be like, so again, I'd say to him like, so? Did you do it? No. Why are you annoyed then?
Yeah. Have you done it before? Well, yeah. Okay,
yeah, okay, there you go.
You got a reputation, haven't you?
Oh, so you had nine times in a row where you were talking and the one time you weren't, you got told off.
Yeah.
Why don't you sort yourself out then?
And that's the one you complained to me about.
Yeah. That's the one you brought to me. Exactly. So I really think I'll be hot on it that way. But
yeah,
I guess, in general, I'd want to be a team. That's all I'd look at it as. And like, I've been in that situation where working as a team with parents and the child and teachers, that's where we tend to get the most outcomes that are more beneficial. I've got one last question.
Oh, go on then.
Let's round it off with this. Because you're now a parent and a teacher, what are you going to buy your child's teacher for Christmas and end of year gifts?
It's got to be a mug.
Would you like a 98th mug?
Yeah, I'll be that parent who sends the kid in to have that really awkward conversation with the teacher. As a teacher, I've experienced this where they say, "Mum says, what do you like, gin or beer?" And it's like a 9-year-old asks you. I'm like, "Oh, I'm not sure I want to tell you."
It's December the 11th. Asking me about like gin or beer. So I wonder why.
Yeah. Do I tell you? Yes, gin. Actually, please. Yeah. Tell your mum I like gin. Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't know. I probably would just find, get my kids to be like, come on, find out what they like. Yeah. Some hobby, something they're interested in, just anything that I can latch onto, and I'll get them a voucher for it or something like that.
I really want to be the person who gets the gift they've never got before.
Yeah.
I know it's really
Here's
hard.
a house.
Yeah.
All right. Just like, bit far.
Me being like, I just want to spend more time with my son. I've got no money. I bought his teacher a house. That's why. But I'd want to get him something where it's like, you know when you've got gifts before and it's just either just thoughtful
But unique.
or unique. And I don't get me wrong, we're grateful for all gifts, obviously, because people hear this and they go, bloody things, shouldn't buy them anything. Well, I'm gonna, okay, because I think they do the God's work. And yeah, I just it's so different where they'll think, I've never got this before, and it's really cool. Like I know you once got a pillow with S embroidered on
Yeah,
it.
it was really nice.
Really cool. Like I got a chopping board. I've still got the chopping board. I talked about this before. Just little things where it's like,
Yeah.
Actually useful and hopefully, and all beer.
Or beer. Yeah, just beer.
Because you can't go wrong with beer.
Yeah. Or just turn into the classic and just think, oh, it's a male teacher, so I'll get them beer.
Yeah.
So, oh, okay. I assume they like beer, apparently.
Bottle of wine out of the
Yeah.
cupboard that I've not in 2 years. Take that in, kid. I don't know. But yeah, that was an interesting one. Good job none of us got emotional during that. That was really good. Well done.
Good job
Yeah.
we called it before as well.
I
Before we
know,
started recording,
literally.
I was like, Dylan's going to cry.
But you know what? Good. Breaking down stereotypes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going for.
Yeah, good for you.
Because you're allowed to be emotional sometimes, Hayden.
I think so as well. I think we should have another episode on this when our children are going to school.
Oh, God.
And we'll see how much of our opinions have changed and when we've had a
God.
bit of experience of talking to
Yeah.
teachers and like turns out like, yeah, I'm just awful. I am just the worst.
I'm going to be a mess when Rory goes to school.
Yeah, I think so.
I nearly cried when we sang Happy Birthday to him. Genuinely. Both times.
And it wasn't even his birthday.
Both times.
I don't know why you were singing it.
Time. Right. We're off. Leave us a review wherever you get your podcast from. Hayden, before we go, anything you want to say to sign us off?
It's okay to cry.
That's actually quite nice.
Yeah.